Hello there, guys. You should be able to hear me. Okay. Give me a second. I still have to launch the game. Yeah, it's time for Silverstone again. Yeah, I was gonna try something. I know that you don't see the game. Give me a second. I need to sort out the chat, and I want to try something. You'll see it in a second. Don't worry. Oh, okay. I found it. Hello, hello. Okay, nice. This will work. So now I can switch to ACC like this, and yep, and it's working. Nice. So what I've done, I've put like entire Streamlabs here. So I have both Streamlabs and chat in Streamlabs, and the chat is big, but the game is here. And let's hope that it's gonna work somehow this way. Yep. Okay. 2020 Silverstone. Custom weather, no wetness, 22 degrees. Cloud cover, I don't know, 25. Dynamic weather, maybe. Variability, 15. I don't know. Practice at 1 p.m. and the Porsche. And also I change one more thing. Yep. I also hope that exactly now I can be still in the game and I can still mess with some stuff in the game, but the chat is automatically refreshing. And previously when I was in game, the chat wasn't refreshing in the background and I had to switch for the chat's window. So it's again refreshing in the VR overlay. But Streamlabs, it's refreshing all the time. So the chat is also refreshing. And I can see it quite clearly like this. I'm gonna probably in some other streams also, test how it will be, but it works fine. So yep. I can also see what you see, which is good because if I'm, I mess up the camera and I'm in VR, so I don't see my screen, I can still see in OBS that maybe something is wrong, or I can see that I'm losing, I don't know, frames or something like that, so I can quickly fix it. Okie dokie, start. Or at least that's my theory, that the chat is refreshing, but I think it is. So that's nice. I think the setup we're gonna use was this one. And for now, I'm not gonna change anything. Proceed to change few things. 5.
Green light, go, go,
go. Okay, I can see already first problem. I need to move it. Because it's taking up... it's covering this free practice 1 p.m. So I need to move it so it's not covered. I'm not gonna race with that anyway, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, like this. Yeah, many setups, but like... it's always like many setups, but to be honest, like only one is the proper one, or like one or two. Like those three, this is like, I don't know, almost the same, but like changed. Codev Academy setup. Then there was AOR Superpole setup, but it's old Nico Zona setup, I think. No, that's something like even older. That's something even older. So that probably doesn't work anymore. Then there's a lot of setups called Nico, because Nico Zollman had amazing Silverstone setup that I based my setups on. And then there are a lot of weird setups that, of course, here standard Codev Academy setups, setup from Nico's Hot Lab, and like different versions of this setup that I was then using for AOR, which was supposed to be with variable conditions, so we didn't know what weather to expect and how we should set up the car. So I made like different versions of it for different temperatures, and I was testing how it behaves. Still, when wet tires were so I don't know how to say it. Before the recent update, with when mid-engine cars started to be a lot better and nicer to drive with wet tires, and even before 1.6, mid-engine cars were struggling so much, and you had to do a lot of changes, especially in a car like a Porsche or Audi or Huracan, to make the car work in the wet, and different kinds of wet. So that's why I had all those different setups. But it's not like well-prepared setup, it's just different versions that I tested, so I saved it. But like probably most of them won't even work. Setups here are at the bottom. Most of them were in preparation for a 12-hour race. But again, it's like almost one setup with like click here, click there, and I will be saving them so I can send them to teammates so they can test it out. And in the end, we ended up using a setup that was absolutely shit and didn't work. So that's great. Anyway, let's load this one and let's go. my god. Wait, my setup from Zandvoort? Did I post any setup for Zandvoort for the Porsche? I think I posted one for Ferrari, which is like Brands Hatch setup for Ferrari, which is also a setup that I used on like Zolder and Laguna Seca. Because I just like how it feels, but it's not even really that good. Maybe I had something for Bentley. At least I don't remember posting anything that was made for Porsche, for Zandvoort. And I remember using on Zandvoort CDA setup with like different arrow tweaks. Anyway, let's drive. See, I started streaming and I'm not even driving. Okay, tell me guys, how's the game sound? Maybe that's a bit too much. I don't think I have ever posted anything for Zandvoort. If I did, maybe I did, but it's like, I don't have anything for Porsche. So, if it is, it's something old, and it's probably not even good. I'm not suffering. It was probably a joke regarding the Imola, where Porsche was absolutely shit. And I didn't feel like thinking about the title for the stream, so I just changed Imola for Silverstone, since after 12 hours, like, no one even wants to drive that track anymore. At least for now. Silverstone is amazing, but we've done 12 hours of it. And on weekend there will be another 8 hours in Endurance Cup for SimGrid. So, for now, it's not that fun. Sound is good, okay. I have absolutely no idea what to expect from today. One thing I know what to expect. I can expect Baldwin to be absolute, like an absolute weapon. The same with Murphy. They're both in McLarens. I don't know about other McLarens. They will definitely be very strong. But of course Murphy and Baldwin, and of course Garcia, they will be super quick, those three McLarens. But then we also have a lot of Ferraris, and Ferrari is strong at Silverstone. AMG is not that bad either, and we don't have any Bentleys in the league. But yeah, Porsche is not that bad either. So, but yeah, to score decent points, I'm gonna have to focus on really go for it. I don't even really know if any weather would help us. It's going well. It's going really well. come on, now they're gonna be overheated and the car is gonna be driving so shit. Ah, they're flat spotted, okay. No, I'm just gonna change those tires because they got flat spotted hard. Yep, this game is really good in VR. It's going well. It's always the case for everyone, right? If you press the like record button or go live button and you suddenly forget how to drive, forget how to speak. If you were supposed to do something, you forgot about that thing that you were supposed to do and stuff like that. That's just typical. Yeah, the thing is that to extract absolute ultimate out of that car, I'll have to drive a very aggressive setup. And then in the race I'll probably manage, but like on the stream when I'm not focusing, when I'm talking, it's gonna be hard to get used to it. I mean, it's gonna take a few laps and I'm gonna be doing 56s straight away. Come on, I need to alter my line through there so I don't do stupid stuff like that. It needs to be smooth throughout the whole thing. Attack the entries a bit more. No pressure, absolutely no pressure. What is pressure? Come on. I don't know the guy. Tire wear is also gonna be a struggle. Oh, mid 58? 57, 8, okay. So we need to find, I don't know, 1 second. Pressures are already wrong, that was expected. second part of the SS. I mean, those like second hairpin can be. I think it's called village or loop. I don't remember. Oops, too late transition. Okay, let's fix the pressure. 57.0. With 25. Whoops. 20. Come on. 25 air temp, 33 track. I put in some wind, so it's not like static air. So at least we have some influence. Here's OTR, Sparko, GTR. Here's. I have already signed in. I haven't actually. No, okay. I can't say. I can't say I haven't read the rules. Yeah, I haven't really, went in full detail. Reading what are the prices, what is the what's gonna be the format of the championship itself, with all those GT4 versus GT3 and different races and eliminations. But for the hot lap itself, I'm already signed in. I signed in straight away. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting championship because it's gonna be multi-class. First, of course, there's gonna be those hot lap competitions to get in, and loads of fast people will be in it, like in SRO. Yeah, with even more popularity of ACC, we're gonna see loads of esports guys there. We're gonna race against. They are gonna race against real drivers. So yeah, the championship should be fun. The format seems nice, and let's see how it's gonna work. I guess we're gonna see. Or at least I hope not. But the only thing that I'm worried about is car selection. But yeah, we're gonna see how it's gonna go. Pressures. I'm not gonna change anything else. Okay. Yep. Sim races will go for GT4 only, but it's just a different class of race car. But the competition itself will be the same. And since it's not like some sim races will be in GT3s, all sim races will be in GT4s, or at least that's how I kinda understood that. So everyone is in the same boat, and competition will be the same, on the highest level, no matter if it's GT4 or GT3 only. I just hope there's not gonna be any stupid ballast or something like that. Because when it is, it's usually overdone. Maserati is not that slow. Maserati is really fast, it's just difficult. Although, yeah, it will be like definitely not the best choice, but oh, that was bad. If it's raining, it's gonna be even more fun. But new rain physics? Maybe not physics. They didn't change much with physics. They changed tires a bit. It's not like they changed tires completely. They changed something about the temperature of them, which made them work in different way. But anyway, like overall how cars balance themselves out in the wet versus the dry, it's also quite nice. So, you know, weather is also a factor in real life. So if it happens, and if there's a variable weather, I have no problem with that. It's gonna be actually amazing. Although I would guess that for such an event, they would avoid it, just because SRO and Spa, if you know what I mean. Again, too early. That's unfortunately not invalidated, but the line itself is good. If you can throw it in from chapel, you can gain a lot. Nicely. Lost the whole tenth. Okay, the pressures were wrong again. But yeah, at least I know that the car can do 56s. How deep into the 56s, that's the question. So outlap is horrendous. Yep, too wide. Fuck. I don't know why, on the entry into Maggots, I was still thinking about that mistake. That's bad. F. But yeah, there's 3 tenths here. Nope, sorry. There's no tenths here. But there's a tenth in first sector. There's definitely a tenth here. And there's definitely a tenth in the last sector. So it's like 56.8. McLaren for sure can do faster lap time. My fan is so OP and so fast. No, I'm steering with the whole hands actually. I don't have even that light force feedback, so my force feedback is quite strong. So yeah, maybe it looks like it, but I'm using my whole hands. That's just a driving style, I guess. You need to relax your hands so they're not so your grips on the wheels aren't like you're not gripping the wheel tight. You need to relax your hands on the wheel and let the whole thing like flow. I think I'm gonna add a tiny bit of preload. I'm just gonna reduce maybe the rake altogether. Late. Okay, let's do the pit entry because that lap was shit anyway. Okay, that was decent. I guess no. I guess the trick is only get good. I'm not deleting your messages, so they're probably homo knowing you. The algorithm also knows you, you know? Nope, not replay.
Green light. Give it all you got.
It depends what kind of love it is. It always depends. Arrow depends. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed making it. And I also enjoyed the final result. It's absolutely epic in my opinion. I just love it. Yeah, it looks nice. Whoops, no, that I don't want to do that. Okay, enough of free camera, third person camera. Back to normality. But yeah, livery is nice. It's not pink, it's raspberry. I knew it. It was the temperatures, because it's 1 a.m. and it got to like 1:30, 1:40, and the temperature went up by some, and it like went through that threshold when the car isn't faster anymore. Anyway, but that lap was quite decent. Perfect. Apart from the last sector where there is a 10th, so that would be a 46.7. But first and second sector were really nice. So I can do a track guide on Silverstone because we didn't do that yet, and we have still 1 hour, so why not? Beep, 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 beep. I mean, just look at that liver. Oops, I clicked something. Never mind. But the liver is just awesome. It turned out to be so nice. And you know, it's, to be honest, it's quite simple. It looks complicated because of that pattern, but the pattern itself, like, it's, you know, copy paste, glue it together, and put it on, and that's really the pattern. And apart from, and the pattern itself is also put on the in-game livery, so that's kind of taken care of. And then the rest is just, you know, putting some sponsors, adding some details like carbon fiber at the bottom here, different rear end design, so the GT3R logo is on the bumper, lower on the bumper, you know, on the wing has carbon fiber and it looks a bit different. Also carbon fiber on the sill below, different carbon fiber on the front, like here on those lighthouses. GT3R logo, do not step here, like small details like that, few sponsors here and there, Porsche Motorsport, Sparco, Total, Pirelli, Oculus, Thrustmaster, and there's a big Thrustmaster logo on the roof, but I'm too lazy to stand up to show you. And SMM, which is Cinemax Motorworks racing team, which helped us. Anyway, is there a reason you don't usually upload the Motec files anymore to do your hot laps? I just always forget to record it, and yeah, I should do that more because people enjoyed it. I don't know, like, I didn't really use Motec. I've never used Motec for myself. So and I struggled with space on the drive, on the hard drive. But now I have more space, so I can again record more Motec and fill it up. Yeah, I should do more Motec. There's no real reason apart from I was lazy, I wasn't recording it, a lot of the times I was forgetting to record it, plus I had a really shortage of space on the hard drive, of free space on the hard drive. Well, you know, it always takes some time. I'm definitely nowhere near what professionals can do in terms of those liveries. And like I said, I just, you know some basics, and just because after I did my first livery, I enjoyed it so much. The final result, seriously, it's such a joy when you can look later at that livery and use it and drive it, even if others can't see it. You can see it on the replays. When you're driving, you can see a bit of it, and it's just amazing. So even though it takes a lot of time, you know, it will take a few days to do it, but then you have amazing livery. So I really enjoy it. Yeah, I didn't want to do any of stupid Easter eggs because it was, you know, a livery that was broadcasted on on official broadcast of the race on SimGrid because they use the liveries on the broadcast. So I didn't want to put any Easter eggs like on the McLaren. But if I could, I would definitely, yeah, because those Easter eggs on the McLaren livery were amazing. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, many people can look at that Motec, compare the laps side by side, and it really helps. Anyway, I have something that will help you definitely. I'm gonna do a track guide because I never can be bothered to do a proper video, and also it would took me like 20 minutes, and then uploading a 20-minute video will take like a day for me. Like seriously, last time I was gonna upload a 40-minute video of the race, it would gonna take me 34 hours. Or 32 or 36, I don't remember now. But it was like 30 something. So uploading a 20-minute track guide or even 15-minute track guide, it would take like majority of the day. Or even the whole night and a bit. So I'm just not gonna do that. So I can do a track guide on the live stream, even in the shit quality. But you know, it's spontaneously and it works. Hello, Andy. Hello. I'm just gonna go to Discord. Now you're gonna give me a second. Virtual desktop. For training coaching. General chat. I'm gonna ping everyone. Probably everyone on by that time already disabled notifications for everyone because I was spamming it and no one wanted to watch my streams. Yep, send it. And I'm gonna also maybe say it on Ari stream because a lot of people here read it. And mandatory OK emote. Okay. Let's go. Turn 1. Let's go with Silverstone. So very high speed, yet very aerodynamic dependent track. You need great aero here. So stuff like McLaren, Ferrari, Porsche are great here. Bentley, because Bentley has really good stability and great aerodynamics. BMW is also not bad because it has both the power and the aero. So it does really well in the high speed stuff. And there's not really that many places where it struggles. Because of huge wing in the Porsche, it produces just a lot of downforce. It produces it inefficiently. That's why it has a lot of drag. But it produces a lot of downforce, so it's quite good. McLaren is just a monster here. McLaren is an absolute beast. So yeah, it requires a setup that will have a great aerodynamic platform. I think. Take everything with a pinch of salt. And great stability and a car that you can trust. Here it's so important because, like on track like Zolder, okay, on Zolder you need to clear. You have to have a car that you can trust that it's gonna clear the bumps. But like here, you need to have a trust in a car that you can throw it into cops, throw it into maggots, throw it into Stowe, and it's gonna stick, or even into Abbey, even into Brooklands, because breaking into Brooklands it's so hard. Hello, Camille. So yeah, that's important to have a car that's gonna be really stable. And 911 isn't really known for being really stable, but since it has quite a lot of aerodynamics and quite high downforce overall, it can go quite fast for those fast corners. You can throw it in, and if you can control it, it will reward you. but it's so much harder than all the other stuff. Okay, turn 1. I guess I'm gonna... I don't know, I'm just gonna play the whole lap in the... in full speed for now, so I can like look at the lap myself because I enjoy watching my laps, and also you can maybe see how the lap looks like and what's the track usage like. Then I'm gonna talk about it in the detail. Enjoy. I'm gonna try to not move my head. An exit from Moorfield, Woodcote is not even a corner anymore. It was in all the Formula 1 cars. Woodcote was so hard corner because it required a lot of commitment, and it wasn't Brooklands wasn't there, or Lafayette wasn't there, not in the form it is right now. So going into Woodcote, usually we're throwing it into the Woodcote corner on the old Silverstone, and on the historic version of it a long time ago. But now Woodcote isn't even a corner; it's just flat out. So that's how the lap looked like. Hello everyone. Cheers, John. Cheers. Okay. Before I even do the track guide, return to the garage, setup, quali, so Q 2533, save. So it's like almost the same setup that was before with different pressures, but I'm gonna save it in case I forgot it. So I have the pressures. Okay, back to the track guide, which I haven't even started. So, turn 1. Now we can slow it down. 50-meter board, it's just a good reference. I guess it's gonna be like hard to even knock it out. But if you don't have that as a reference, there's always that guy in the yellow suit standing there. And also there's, where are those flags? It's like second to last flag is also at 50 meters. But usually that 50-meter board doesn't go anywhere. No one's gonna go off here, so it's not gonna disappear. You can use it as a reference. And when you hit it right before it, if you're starting learning Silverstone, don't fully hit it into the corners. Like I said, that track requires a lot of commitment and a lot of trust in the car. So if you're learning the track, build that up slowly, rather than trying to throw it in and ultimately failing and not really knowing what happened. So build up to it. But somewhere behind the 50-meter board, there you can start to brake. And everything here needs to be done really, really smoothly. The car is gonna transfer the weight to the front, so it needs to be done in a really, really smooth way, because if you're gonna here just slam on the brakes, the weight is gonna just go to the front so much, and the fronts are gonna bite. And in a car like 911 or some mid-engine cars, front-engine cars won't have that many problems with that because they will be naturally more stable. And for example, the Bentley with long wheelbase, it will have more natural stability, or just cars that are also set up more stable. But for example, 911 with a very aggressively set up 911, really oversteery and rotatey, you need to be smooth with the inputs, and you need to be smooth with how you move that weight to the front. So here, when you go into the corner, when you move the weight to the front, you need to make it in, go like 70% of the brakes, 50% of the brakes, and then let it smoothly. So that weight that goes to the front won't make a sudden change in the balance of the car, and then it will snap or spin. So going gently on the front, gently braking, and turning in also really, really gently. But as light as possible and with as high speed as possible. But everything needs to be done gently, especially in a car like 911, so it doesn't do any snap, it doesn't spin. So it's like gently and slowly introduced to the corner, and you need to do that slowing down a bit on the brakes, a bit off the brakes later, and a bit of coasting to the apex that's really, really far into the corner. There's an apex, it's not somewhere there, it's really, really far into the distance right there. And when you're entering the corner, it's hidden behind that guardrail. So you need to go on the brakes, then stabilize it a bit, and then there will be an apex. Ultimately, you want to move that apex that you hit as far as possible. Although safer it is to move that apex a bit earlier and go on the throttle already here. So that zone here where you're decelerating when the car is on the nose and the weight is on the front, and when the car rotates really, really aggressively, is reduced. So it doesn't snap here in the middle. If you're gonna try to push it farther into the corner, it will be super hard, and it will require so much control and commitment and trust into the car. And it's one of the hardest things to do in ACC, especially with the Porsche, seriously. And this corner is so hard to absolutely nail and get every single 1/1000 out of it, Okay. So you can hit that apex earlier, so it's safer. If you want to really, really find some time, try to attack it a bit more on the entry, turn in a bit later, lift off the throttle, and I don't know, Cody. Whoops. If it's... Can I change it to live chat? Whoops. It was top chat, not live chat, sorry. But now it's there. Ooh, you suck. Thank you, Cody. I'm gonna try to be better. And you'll be doomed. Okay, but whatever the entry you'll decide to do, and whatever the entry it will end up being, because it's so fast and it needs so much precision that, of course, you'll try something, but then it's gonna end up almost always being a bit different. And then you need to go as early on the throttle, maximize the road and the exit. You can see here I'm already full throttle, and I'm releasing the steering, and the limit of what you can use is that black and white curve. I think almost everywhere around the track is that black and white curve, that's the limit. But it's so easy to go outside here. And also, if you're gonna have a lot of steering angle here, there's gonna be loads of scrubbing in the tires, and you're not gonna be as fast out of that corner. So it's a balance between how much speed into the corner and how early you can release the steering and let the car accelerate freely. Why Cody? I mean, it's easy to be disappointed with ACC's VR. Have you tried anything else in VR before? Anyway, Maggots Beckett Chapel. First corner is just a lift. It's just here. Oh, I even touched the brakes. There's no need. there shouldn't be any brake. Like I touched it for a split second, and with 5% brakes, there is no need. So you go in, then when you turn in, again, lift off the throttle, just slightly bit, like, to 70%, 60%, wait, but like with turn 1, again, slowly onto the front, slowly moving the transfer to the front, so the car is again like introduced gently into the corner, and in gradual way it like loads up to the front outside wheel, and it generates that grip, and you cut the track a bit. So it's all about timing of how you transfer the weight, Yeah. With that stabilization of the rear, like a lot of the times it will be needed to stabilize the car, but because it will spin, and it's gonna want to spin so badly. Ultimately, you want to make it as smooth as possible and go into the corner and lean on the outside rear tires, and then go on throttle as early as possible and get that excellent rotation on the entry. Up until that late apex, and then accelerate freely with high speed. But ultimately, it's always going to want to spin and over rotate in so many occasions, and so be really aware of that. And if there's a need, just go on the throttle and stabilize it. But that little phase of coasting is just needed there, because there's no way to brake far into the corner in cops. But the corner is still tightening up, so you need to move that decelerating zone, let's say, with a bit of coasting up until that later apex. Only some. On that lap, the apex was quite early in the corner. But yeah, let's just like look at full speed from the inside, and you can hear the engine when I go on the throttle when I stabilize it. So here I go. Here I stabilize it a bit, and now full throttle. So there was that little phase when I stabilized it, but it wasn't like, oh, I need to go on the throttle. It was just a phase when I stabilized it, because I knew, oh, okay, it will want to rotate. I felt it in the car that, oh, maybe it's over rotating. So I tapped the throttle. I went 20%, 30%, so you could hear the RPMs going up. You could hear me going on the throttle, but the car didn't understeer. It was just a slight moment when I somewhere here in the in the entry, right here, I went a bit on the throttle, so it was like probably 50%, 30, 50, whatever it was, but it was to stabilize the car, but it was still decelerating on the fronts. And then after I was sure that I can gun it, then I opened the throttle fully and I let it wash out to the outside and release the steering, so it's accelerating. Ultimately, if you can go straight into hard throttle, it's the best. But it's like, if there's needs to stabilize, just do it. I know Cody that it's blurry. Turn on some sharpness. Try the thing that I have in the description. Yep, I don't break there. Okay, Magot's back chapel. So here it's just like a lift. Here the engine. How it was like you almost couldn't hear how it goes down the RPMs, right? So it's like lift of the throttle 90%, 80%. It goes to it loads up the front just a tiny bit, and then you can introduce it into the corner, slowly load up the tires, go towards the exit, but then already slam the throttle, go on the throttle, now move the weight to the back, and when you go into the corner already committing to the line that will allow you to here go on the throttle, and start to releasing the steering a bit, like opening this corner that will end up somewhere here. So not on the outside, somewhere here. So it's like you think of it like the exit of that corner is right here, the exit of the maggots, you know. Actually, I think maggots is the left-hander. Like this is maggots, and this doesn't have a name, so this is actually maggots, and this doesn't have a name. I don't know. But anyway, you go in, you turn in, you rotate the car a bit of throttle, just a bit of throttle. And then you go on throttle, releasing the steering so it stabilizes, so here it doesn't over-rotate, but you commit into the line that will ultimately end up with you releasing the steering and here starting to going straight, but being positioned already for the next corner, you know, because all those corners are connected. So with first maggots, you need to prepare for beckets. So here, it's really smooth transition here. But you need to here like release the steering and at least straighten the car out just a tiny bit. So here when you go on the brakes and when you do the transition, it's not like a sudden transition and really hard transition, you know. So again, it's the transfer of the load transfer and weight transfer is done again smoothly, and again like the car is, how you can say, introduced into the corner really gently, you know. And it's again off throttle and a bit of coasting, waiting, and then when you clear the apex, go a bit on the throttle and release the and start releasing the steering, straightening the car out. But again, you think of like middle of the track as the exit, so you accelerate with maybe a bit of releasing of the steering, so it's already starting to go straight. So again, for the next transition, there's no like sudden transition, you know. And it's not like in steps. Of course, everything flows from one phase to another, you know. But again, you need to end up after that corner with car in the middle of the track, and then again with quite high speed, you just brake a bit, go down the gear. Here you go down to third, and again you go on the fronts, leaning on the front tires with load on the front tires. You're using front tires to rotate the car. Car is rotating, and you're waiting with the throttle, because if you're gonna go on the throttle too early, the front is gonna rise up. Front aero is not gonna work as efficiently. Load is gonna move to the back. Load is gonna be taken away from the front tires. Load is gonna move to the back tires, so the whole balance is gonna change to more understeer, and the car is just gonna wash out. So we need to wait for that moment to go on the throttle, and then while looking at the distance at the edge, when we're certain that okay, this is the time to go on the throttle, then you go on the throttle. And on Silverstone, you can do it much earlier than you think. So you go on the throttle really early, and you use all the track and even more. So look how much of a track I'm using. But then again, here I'm already straight. I'm no longer turning further into the right. I have already cleared the corner. It's just that I'm gonna touch that grass and go over it, but it's not necessarily gonna slow me down that much. Of course, it's gonna slow me down, but not that much. And the sheer speed that I was able to carry through the corner after Beckett's and into the chapel just gives me that time advantage, and also the speed that I'm carrying out of it. So the exit itself doesn't allow me to accelerate as well out of it, but I already have that speed because I carried it through the corner, and it like ends up being like a 10th difference if you're gonna use more of that outside. But you need to be really careful, because if you're gonna use too much, well, the transition is gonna be, that transition again to the left is gonna be too late, or you're gonna do it too much and it's gonna snap at the exit and go into that forklift, or you're gonna use too much grass, your car is gonna jump. So it needs to be done really precisely. And look at the whole section now in full speed. So smooth transition, And here again, on the brake, smooth transition, waiting, fully on the throttle and using all the track, and early transition into the left. Look how early on the throttle I go. Jesus. One camera. Okay, and then we have, of course, that's hangar straight, I think. That's hangar straight. Okay, stow. Another corner, it's like similar to turn 1, maybe, in a way that, like, how you need to approach it. Well, it always depends on the car. If you need to slow down a bit, you need to slow down a bit. It's not, but it's, you know, it's just a matter of slowing down. But ultimately, you need to, again, like, do it smoothly and slow as little as possible. Maybe you need to only lift. Maybe you need to brake a bit. Depends on the setup. Depends on the conditions. Depends on loads of factors. But usually, the cars don't really need to brake there, or if they need, it's just tiny. Tiny tap of the brakes, but ultimately, just throw it in there. Of course, making sure that you're not gonna go wide enough, so then you're positioned well into the buckets. But remember that what I'm showing you here is like an example of what I do on the track and what references I use and how I think about each corner and what. But then you can of course modify it a bit to each car, see what works for you, and there are definitely many ways to take different corners in many cars. Of course, not like completely different, but details like that are gonna vary. Gears, points when you go on the throttle, braking points for different cars are gonna be different because they brake in a different way. They brake from different speeds. Like for that corner, for the one after Maggots, some cars will only lift, some cars they will require dab of brakes. But those are small car specific details. Okay, stow. Again, like turn 1, going in hard on the brakes, but then when you're releasing the brakes, you're doing it really, really gently, but again leaning on the front tires and waiting for it to rotate. And when you're certain it's rotated, we're waiting still on the throttle, so the load is on the front and it's rotating. And then when you're certain you're gonna make it, you're going early on the throttle and you're using all the track, and then at the very end releasing the steering, so it's starting to travel straight as early as possible, again using all the track. Chicane. Braking late and carrying loads of speed into the first one, because after the first part of the chicane, we don't really have any straight. So you can really attack the first part of the chicane. In here you can see I'm still on the front. Then I go a bit on the throttle, but if it would be a straight after that would be completely wrong. But because we have it's a chicane, so there's immediately a right after that. So we go deep into that corner, but again, making sure that positioning of the car, we're not there on the outside, we're in the middle, but still decelerating throughout the corner and really, really deep into it. Then transition from the middle and early on the throttle. So use a bit of that curb, depending on the car, depending on the setup. Some cars can clear that curb easier without jumping, with jumping. Well, ultimately you don't want to jump at all, so depending on the car, and they can take more or less. But you don't want to jump here. Because you want to have the car really, really settled, and here accelerate as early as possible. And look how the car is like straightening out on the exit. So here I turn in, and here I'm applying the throttle, and I'm releasing the steering, letting the car apply that traction and accelerate freely out of the corner. And then when it finally hooks up, then I turn in again to the inside, and I commit for like a line that, oh my god, too much speed. And I commit for a line that's gonna from here take me to the outside while kissing that curb with the sausage with path of least resistance. Okay, Abby. It's like, again, it's like that corner after Maggot or Stow or Cops. It's just that deceleration here. It's just a lift. There's no braking. It's just a lift. But you know, it's still a deceleration zone, so it's the same. On the fronts, but only lifting a bit. I think I lift here to like 50%, 70%. But again, it needs to be done smoothly, so the car is like introduced into the corner, so the car can, you know, gradually, like, you know, efficiently produce the grip. So the weight transfer isn't like a sudden and it suddenly snaps or it understeers because fronts lose their grip, or you turn in and the rear snaps because fronts bite but the rears don't. So it needs to be done gradually. So off the throttle, use the load transfer that's gonna happen a bit for turn in, and then as early as possible cut that curve a bit. Here in this example I cut it maybe a bit too little, not as much as I should, but it's like, you know, it takes few tries with different cars again. What will be the point to turn in? What will be that point to lift? That you need to test out for yourself how the delta will behave, what you will feels the best, the safest for you, and then as you feel more comfortable with the car, you can yeet it more into that corner. But it's like the same philosophy of going into that corner as with turn 1, let's say. It's just that deceleration isn't really with braking. You do it purely by just lifting of the throttle and coasting, but that's still deceleration. So you lift and immediately on the throttle, releasing the steering. Transition and path of least resistance. Here you're releasing the steering again, and you're aiming after those two S's. You're aiming for the left side of the road. So we're preparing for so while we're, you know, going through those S's with really, really high speed, we're still making sure that, you know, we're not gonna end up on the middle. So like with the path of least resistance, go to the inside here. Again, like balance of two things depending on the car. Some cars will just bite with the front and clear that corner depending on the setup, how understeery it is. Some cars will bite, some won't. So you need to, you know, lift maybe a bit more, weight with the throttle a bit more. But at the end of the day, you want to find yourself, while trying to get through those S's with the highest speed, end up on the outside for the first hairpin. I think it's village or the loop. I don't remember. One is village and one is the loop. I never remember which one is which. So here it's like almost like a chicane, like thinking almost as like in terms of how much speed you can carry into each. Like into first one, you carry out of speed in, and you don't worry that much about acceleration. It's still really important, like in every corner, but not as much. So we can carry a lot of speed into that corner, trail brake far into the corner, and here coasting, lot of speed into it, and then on the throttle. But on the exit from the second one, here it will require a lot of more preparation. So I brake early, I wait, and then I go in. And I go in I pick the moment when I go into the corner once, and I pick it so I'm gonna just hit the inside, and I'm still waiting for the car to rotate, and then I feel like I can finally go on the throttle to make the exit, while allowing the car to, you know, rotate a bit initially when I go on the throttle, and then start releasing the steering, so the car is freely accelerating from this moment through that outside and through our entire Wellington straight. But that's why I need so much preparation, like for that corner. So for the first one, you kinda yeet it in with lots of spin and trail braking into the apex, and then on the throttle. And here a bit more from the outside, waiting early on the throttle, and just, you know, boom on the throttle and releasing the steering. Let the let the car get the traction, let the car apply the steering, and just go. Yes, Porsche is 5, and you know, it depends on the wing, depends on the track, depends on the BOP, depends on the air condition, air temperature, but it is down on the straight quite a lot, like 5, 7, sometimes even 10 if someone's compared to you running low downforce setup and you're on high downforce. And it has a lot of drag, and it has good brakes, and it has a rear engine, so it can stop a lot. You know, its braking points for like straight line braking are a bit later than others. Again, like a bit. It's not like, oh, I can brake 10 meters later. No, it's just a bit. Details. But, you know, a lot of car dependent stuff, like always. Anyway, accelerating freely out of the corner. Now, Brooklands, Laughing and Woodcote. Use that curb on the entry, so you can just maximize the track track usage. So when I arrive here, look that I go on the brakes with the car that's already pointing into the corner, so then the amount of turning and the radius of the corner is reduced. Amount of turning that I need to do is reduced, and the radius of the corner is well, the radius won't change that much because I haven't extended the track. I just changed the yaw and the positioning of the car. But the amount of turning that I'm gonna do overall is reduced. So I can here straight line the brakes initially, and that's why I use that curb. I don't brake on that curb, but I use it to just position the car here into the corner. So here I position it and then straight line brake. Start straight line braking and then slowly adding steering, leaning a bit on the ABS, but then trail braking and letting the car to rotate up until that late apex. And then right before you hit it, you go on the throttle. Here, depending on the car, depending on the setup, you can go early on the throttle. Try to go as early as on the throttle. Rotate it on the throttle right before the right on the exit. And again, like you do the exit in a way that you don't end up here. You do it in the way that you end up here. So like you use, like you think that in your head that okay, you want to end up here, and you use like your knowledge where that car needs to end up as like track limit, you know. So you look into the distance for that point. It's gonna be somewhere there, and you're trying to go on the throttle, so you're gonna end up not on the outside but here, and that allows you to again have a better positioning into the next turn. So you just go in early with high speed, and it's like double apex. You hit that first apex right here, go in, brake, trail brake, first apex, then you rotate the car, then you go on the throttle, rotate it on the throttle, hit the second apex, and then accelerate throughout the exit. Both of those weren't the best. There's definitely a 10th, maybe even 2 here, but it's hard to find those always. Those 2 corners are so hard to gain time in, with like pushing that braking further into the corner and doing better trail braking with timing everything in left field correctly, so you're making the double apex, and you know it's always a balance of how much speed you're carrying into the corner, how wide you're going in, how early you can do that like cut back and accelerate while hitting the second clipping point. And but you know that's at least the theory. Here you go for the late apex, accelerate, position the car not fully on the outside, just a bit, you know, a bit like, whoops, like, you know, half a car length from the curb, half a car width from the curb or something like that. And then you go for the first apex, braking, trail braking, cutting it a bit, hitting that first apex, waiting for the car to rotate, and then early on the throttle. Look how early in the corner I am on the throttle. Already on the throttle, rotate the car a bit on the throttle, then it stabilizes, then straight line it a bit so I allow it to apply traction, and now it goes, I complete the turn, it already accelerates, and I'm using all the road again. And then the round down to the finish is, you know, shortest way possible, so I'm cutting here that a bit. as it's a hot lap. In the race, of course, like it's not worth to do it. You're gonna do it like more gradual line from here to the outside. Of course, like still sticking to the inside. I think somewhere from this moment on, you're gonna go towards the outside and not like completely sticking to the wall. And that's Silverstone. Okay. Just why did I do it so long? What's the time? I have only 15 minutes to focus to practice with race fuel, which is good because uh, there's been already enough of Silverstone this week with 12-hour race that we had, and it's bad because I'm not gonna get the practice that I ultimately need. But I need to do a break, guys, a little break. Yep. And I'm back. 9 viewers left. Still a lot. Considering the quality of that stream. Whoa. Unfortunately, my stream apps got broken. Yep, it's broken. At least in Oculus, I see this. Why? I'm gonna end the stream soon anyway, so I'm just gonna do some math without the chat on. Okay, yeah, I guess it's time to end. It's time to stop because the free practice is gonna start soon, so I need to go. And no one's even watching anyway, so what's the point? Joking. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope that some people enjoyed the track walk and track guide. Maybe it was helpful. It was quite short today, but now it's time for the race. So, yeah, time to end. Cheers. Good